Hello everyone, it is Obscure Nick here with a new video. Today we are going to talk about the history, pre-breakdown Amanda Bynes, and what she wanted the world to really know. So let's deep dive and thrive. So today we are going to be doing part 2 of pre-breakdown Amanda Bynes, and what led her to her breakdown is what we're going to get into. Last video we kind of talked about what happened on the Amanda show, just judging from an extra that came forward to me back in August 2019. So today we are going to discuss it a little further. And we're going to talk about what happened after Nickelodeon. I first want to give a shout out to @FreeBynes. That is a great Twitter to keep up with the Free Amanda movement and what's going on with Amanda Bynes right now and what's going to happen in court. Today, most of this stuff is from NT Lawyer. Shout out to NT Lawyer. They have an amazing Patreon account where they go into detail of their experiences with celebrities. And one of those celebrities is Amanda Bynes. And I'm going to put that link in the description. I do think everyone needs to go and check out this Patreon podcast themselves on Amanda Bynes. I'm going to give it a link. Like, everyone needs to hear the full detail. We're going to do it in a very surface level way today, but we'll talk about what they experienced and what they noticed. And this will give us some answers to why Amanda Bynes, why she retired from the industry too. NT first met Amanda back in 2007. She was just like how you saw her on TV. Like, really, like, her off-screen persona was just like the way you saw her in Hairspray, She's the Man, The Amanda Show, etc., etc. In this particular time, wanted to go off and venture into more adult roles. And after this first time NT met Amanda, she was never the same again. In the fall of 2007, they met again. They talked about what is happening with Jamie Lynn Spears before it happened, because NT had this post that was about a child star getting pregnant from a producer. It's a very well-known line that was released back then. In December 2007, when the reports about Jamie Lynn being pregnant, Star Magazine and Perez Hilton were the only two that took information into account and to put it out there. It's crazy that Perez Hilton was the one to put that out about DS and Nickelodeon and Jamie Lynn, and was one of the first people to do that. Because Perez Hilton, I feel, was paid off eventually by Viacom Nickelodeon, because he appeared in Victorious in the episode Wi-Fi in the Sky special guest star, which I always found that odd. So I feel like there was some sort of deal made for that to all happen. As well, this was like the first time where Nickelodeon really came under fire for Jamie Lynn Spears' pregnancy.
As we know, Jamie Lynn is a major teenage icon with a hit show on squeaky clean Nickelodeon. The show's called Zoe 101. Young girls everywhere look up to her.
And they were auditioning boyfriends for Jamie Lynn. And I always found it weird that Casey Aldridge has not been in the picture since. It's very suspicious to me, considering he's allegedly the birth father. I am very on the fence about Jamie Lynn being the child of DS. It's like Jamie Lynn has said things too in a DM that she sent to my friend Zoe 101 Reboot, who is now Workaholics TV. Shout out to my friend Sam. Just from that DM, it made me very confused about the whole DS and Jamie Lynn thing. But going back to Amanda Bynes, during the time of fall 2007 and 2008, she was going out with guys that were allegedly decades older than her. And I'm guessing that happened from her childhood, like we said in the previous video, because DS would fondle her, hug her from behind, like from that extra that worked on the Amanda show told me. And she was triggered by a certain word because a producer on a production said they hire actors, not. So with that being said, she was easily triggered by a lot of things, and it kind of made her go off. In the summer of 2009, Amanda had 2 movie deals, which could have made her an A-list actress. One for the movie Easy A, and one for hall pass. NT said that she showed different versions of herself when they were at some club together. She would do friend version, work version, sex version, because that's how she lived. And she put on a persona because she did not know how to act for certain people, because I feel like she would just adjust with what's in the room because she was taught that at a young age. She grew up in an environment by her parents where she's like, you're gonna act this way with this person and you're gonna act this way with another person. So naturally over time, she played characters so much, she knew how to make characters for herself. That makes sense to me. As someone who does acting and did that, and even just working in like places like retail, I had to put on a persona, and sometimes it was hard to switch that off. So if you worked and had to be performative for people ever, you know that sometimes it's hard to switch that performance off, and you eventually have, it messes with your psyche and you have no idea how to act genuine with people, really. The reason why she got these 2 movie deals is because she spent the right time with the right people. And after Sydney White did not do well, in 2008, she barely did anything. She was on Family Guy, and it makes sense because she was dating Seth MacFarlane at the time. So she had to spend the right time with the right people to get the right roles. She basically relived her childhood because allegedly, according to NT, she lived her childhood letting herself be assaulted. That means her body's being used by older men to get roles, pretty much. She did that as a child, but now she's doing it as an adult. So just as a child in general, dealing with all that, especially in your 20s, is really a challenge to come over. And I've had experience with that personally, so I know in general that messes with me personally, so I can only imagine what she went through. So she became, over time, very manic, very paranoid, because she felt people were watching her. Even on the Easy A set, she thought someone was recording her and she would freak out. And she also was allegedly snorting coke, a hard drug. That night when NT was speaking to her, she was doing it every 15 minutes. She was set to film Hall Pass in January 2010, and she was gonna retire and go to school in the fall because, like I said, she spent the right time with the right people, and it wasn't just like one person, it was like over 50 people, probably. She knew Easy A was going to be her last film because she knew she made the right amount of money for going with the right people. So she could retire. She easily could retire. She needed a break, and she was getting so tired of being used for sexual purposes by people in the industry. So she also revealed to NT that night that this is all alleged, but there is a lot of speculation around this, is that back in 2009 was the first time she admitted to anyone that she got pregnant from a Nickelodeon producer who is allegedly DS, and then was forced an abortion later so they could cover that up. And there's been word on the street since like 2002, 2003 about this. She was allegedly living with DS at that particular time. I think when she got that off her chest, she was done with the industry. She was like, no more secrets, I'm done. And she wanted people to know that. And I still think to this day she wants people to know that. I don't know if she's ever gonna fully tell her story about that, because the media and people who are orchestrated players in the media who will take a certain amount of money will keep playing it off like she's crazy, like she's crazy, like she's crazy. And that's why she doesn't come forward and truly speak up about it. As well, we have to look at Britney's situation. I mean, look at the amount of TMZ articles that are trying to make her look like she's crazy right now. So we have to take a page from that and also question the media of what's real and what's not, because there is a lot of fake news out there, and we have to keep a clear, open mind about all these people that have experienced the assault from other big people in the industry. We have to keep an open mind about it, because remember, these are people with loaded pockets. And like Kira Davis said, she did an article on DS a few years ago, and she said the real people with money and power in Hollywood are not the people in front of camera, but it's the people behind the camera. And that's very true. We see it happen. There was an article, allegedly, that was supposed to come out about DS and the behavior that happened on his sets back in October 2017. A YouTube show, Revenge of the Sis, was going to go forward with that. However, it was taken down and it was scrapped for an article about DS and his bunny just a month later. And the speculation behind that is that we're assuming it never happened because allegedly they were paid off. And this was People magazine, by the way. Before Amanda went into full what we saw later on, the first thing happened after her DUI arrest on March 9th, 2012. Amanda met with Auntie at an IHOP at like 3 a.m. She was in a huge trench coat and glasses, did not want to be seen. She admitted to Auntie during that time that she wanted to get out of the business ever since What I Like About You when dealing with her co-star Jenny Garth. And her and Jenny Garth allegedly did not get along. Auntie did a whole post on that. And it was like a back and forth war with them. I've heard Jenny Garth is not the easiest person to deal with. Shannon Doherty had an on-set physical fight with her, which I think actually did happen. And Tiffany Thiessen used to be friends with her, and now they're not anymore. Vanessa Marcel as well. All these Beverly Hills 90210 girls seem to not get along with her at all. So it's not too shocking if Amanda had issues with her too, but also Jenny said that she has nothing but fond memories of Amanda, but I don't know if that's just a cover up or whatnot. She as well admitted that she was originally going to do Playboy in 2010 to shed her good girl image completely, but she chose Maxim instead since it was more approachable, but Maxim was one of the last things she did in the industry. And from there, that was pretty much after that, everything is history, and we kind of know the story going forward. There are videos on her post breakdown, but my ultimate conclusion is I believe Amanda was raised in a certain way by her parents. She can get what she wants. She just needs to give gifts and do things with certain people in order to get that. I mean, it was pretty clear that that's all she truthfully knows. She had that issue at her college where she got caught bribing gifts. I feel bad for her because it's hard to break from childhood dysfunction. And she's a type of woman that deep down, I believe, hates men because they took advantage of her. So many in the whole industry, like so many. And when you're taken advantage of for sexual purposes, or you have these one-night stands with people like Liam Hemsworth, it takes a toll on you. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I want to send much love to you all, and I'll put links to the NT description down below, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Bye!